When morning light found us, the first rays of dawn crept through the lace curtains of the Millbrook Valley Clinic, casting gentle shadows across the polished wooden floors. Sarah wiped down the examination tables with careful precision, humming a soft melody her grandmother had taught her years ago. The clinic had been her world for the past 4 years, ever since she'd graduated from nursing school and returned to the village where she'd grown up. Everything about this place felt like home. The way morning light filtered through the windows, the familiar creak of the front door, the soft tick of the old clock on the wall that had counted the minutes of countless quiet days. Sarah loved the predictable rhythm of caring for her neighbors, checking blood pressure for Mrs. Henderson, bandaging scraped knees for the Thompson children, and listening patiently to Mr. Garcia's stories about his late wife. This Thursday morning felt different somehow, though Sarah couldn't say why. Maybe it was the unusual stillness in the air, or the way the birds seemed quieter than usual. She shrugged off the feeling and continued her routine, filling the coffee pot and arranging fresh daisies in a mason jar. At exactly 8:30, the peaceful morning shattered. The clinic door flew open so hard it bounced against the wall. A tall man in an expensive navy suit stumbled inside, his face gray with pain and exhaustion. His silver hair was perfectly styled despite his obvious distress, and his leather shoes gleamed even in his weakened state. But none of these details mattered to Sarah. All she saw was someone who needed help. "Please," he gasped, gripping the reception desk with trembling hands. "Something's wrong. I was driving through and suddenly, I can't catch my breath." Sarah was at his side instantly, her training taking over. She guided him gently toward the nearest examination room, her voice calm and reassuring. "I'm Sarah, and you're going to be okay. Let me help you lie down." The man looked up at her with confused, frightened eyes. There was something almost childlike in his expression, as if he wasn't used to being vulnerable. "Thank you," he whispered. "I'm William Johnson." The slight hesitation in his voice went unnoticed by Sarah, who was focused entirely on taking his vital signs. She had no way of knowing that William Johnson was actually William Sterling, CEO of Sterling Enterprises, one of the most recognizable faces in American business. To her, he was simply a scared man who had wandered into her small world seeking help. Dr. Martinez arrived within minutes and conducted a thorough examination. After what felt like hours, but was only 30 minutes, he delivered his verdict: severe exhaustion, dehydration, and acute stress. Not life-threatening, but serious enough to require complete rest. "Your body is shutting down from overwork," Dr. Martinez explained gently. "You need at least a week of complete rest. No phone calls, no meetings, no stress of any kind." William tried to protest weakly. He had a board meeting in Chicago tomorrow, a merger to finalize, shareholders expecting answers. But when he attempted to sit up, dizziness overwhelmed him, and Sarah's gentle hand on his shoulder guided him back down. "The doctor is right," she said softly. "Your health has to come first. Everything else can wait." There was something in her voice, genuine concern without any underlying agenda, that made William pause. When was the last time someone had cared about his well-being without considering what they might gain from it? Sarah helped him make the necessary phone calls, though she had no idea she was helping postpone million-dollar deals. To her, William was just someone who had worked too hard and needed time to heal. She arranged for him to stay at the Riverside Inn, a small bed and breakfast run by her friend Emma, just 2 blocks from the clinic. "Emma makes the most incredible apple cinnamon pancakes," Sarah said with a warm smile, "and her guest rooms overlook the river. It's very peaceful." William nodded, too exhausted to explain that he usually stayed in 5-star hotels with personal concierge service. Right now, apple cinnamon pancakes and a river view sounded like exactly what he needed. Over the next few days, something extraordinary began to happen. Without his phone constantly buzzing with urgent calls, Without the pressure of endless meetings and decisions, William started to remember who he had been before success consumed his identity. He took slow walks through the village, noticing details he would have rushed past in his former life. The way Mrs. Chen tended her flower garden with such patient care, how the local librarian knew every child by name, the gentle way people greeted each other on the street, as if each encounter mattered. But the highlight of each day became his visits to the clinic. Sarah would check his progress. Blood pressure, stress levels, sleep quality. But their conversations gradually expanded far beyond medical concerns. She told him about growing up in Millbrook Valley, about her decision to become a nurse after her younger brother broke his arm, and she watched how the medical staff made him feel safe and cared for. William found himself sharing memories he hadn't thought about in years. His childhood in rural Ohio, helping his father in their small hardware store. His mother's garden, where she taught him the names of every flower. His early dreams of building something meaningful before ambition had twisted those dreams into something else entirely. What changed? Sarah asked one afternoon as she prepared tea for both of them. It had become their ritual. Chamomile tea served in mismatched cups while they watched the village world go by through the window. William was quiet for a long moment, watching steam rise from his cup. I think I forgot that success was supposed to be a means to an end, not the end itself. I got so focused on climbing higher that I never stopped to ask why the climb mattered. Sarah nodded thoughtfully. My grandfather used to say that happiness isn't about having everything you want. It's about wanting what you have. By his 6th day in Millbrook Valley, William realized something that both thrilled and terrified him. He was falling in love, not just with Sarah, though her kindness and wisdom had captured his heart completely. He was falling in love with this simpler way of life, with the idea that meaning could be found in small moments and genuine connections. He loved how Sarah hummed while organizing supplies, how she remembered every patient's story and asked about their families. He loved her laugh, the way she made the most ordinary tasks feel important, how she listened to his thoughts as if they truly mattered to her. But guilt gnawed at him. How could he tell her who he really was? Would she still care for him if she knew about his wealth, his corporate empire, his life of board meetings and private jets? On his final evening at the inn, William made a decision. He walked to the clinic just as Sarah was locking up, her arms full of files she planned to review at home. Sarah, he said, his voice uncertain in a way that would have shocked his business associates. There's something I need to tell you. She turned to him with that radiant smile that had become so precious to him. What is it, William? I haven't been entirely honest with you, he began carefully. I am William, but my last name isn't Johnson. It's Sterling. William Sterling. I own a large corporation and I'm quite wealthy. My real life is nothing like this peaceful week we've shared. Sarah studied his face for a long moment, and William held his breath, waiting for her reaction. Are you a good person, William Sterling? She asked quietly. The question caught him completely off guard. I want to be. This week with you has reminded me what that means. Do you treat people with respect and kindness? I'm learning to again. You've shown me how important that is. Sarah stepped closer and took his hand. Then your last name and your bank account don't matter to me. I fell in love with the man who helped Emma fix her front porch railing, who knows all my patients' names now, who makes me laugh and appreciates the beauty in simple things. I love you too, Sarah, William whispered, feeling tears he hadn't shed in years. I love everything about this life we could have together. 1 year later, the Millbrook Valley Gazette ran a small announcement. Local nurse Sarah Mitchell had married businessman William Sterling in a ceremony held at the village clinic, with decorations of mason jars filled with wildflowers and Emma's famous apple cinnamon cake. William kept his company but transformed how he led it, treating employees as valued people rather than resources. He and Sarah divided their time between his New York office and their cottage by the river. But their happiest moments were still the quiet ones, sharing afternoon tea and watching the world go by, finding wealth in love's simple treasures.